So here we have a spreadsheet that asked a scaled question about how likely are you to buy a name brand, and the scale was from 1 to 5. Now if we did the normal charting process on this spreadsheet, we'd highlight the data that we wanted to chart, click on the chart, and even if we chose, if we chose a column chart and a bar chart, it would show us the data for each person that answered the question. The same would be true of a pie chart in this case, because each piece of data represents one answer, and so everybody's going to have pretty much the same answer in that case. If we wanted to make a pie chart of this to show how many people said 3 or 2 or 1 or 5 or whatever, we need to do some extra manipulation of this data. So we're going to go to some blank spot in the spreadsheet over here, and we're going to first of all type the 5 labels that went with this data. So the one would be not at all likely. The next label would be not very likely. The next label would be somewhat likely. The next label would be very likely. And the final label would be I always buy brands. So people would have chosen 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 based on that scale. Not at all likely to buy brands or always buy brands, and then anything in between there. So now what we have to do is we have to find out how many people said those various things. So if this was number 1, we can look through and find that one person responded with a 1 to there. Looking for 2s, there's a 2, 2. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people responded 2. We don't put 2 here, we put 5 because that's the number of people that responded. How many 3s were there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we'll put a 5 there. How many 4s were there? 1, 2. So we'll put a 2 here. And how many 5s were there? 1, 2, and that's it. So we'll put a 2 for that one as well. So what we've done here is with the labels that were used for this scaled response, we've counted the number of people that chose that response. So instead of charting this data, what we're going to chart for our pie chart is this data over here, and we're going to include the labels when we make our selection because we want the labels to appear on the chart. So again, we highlight the data, including the labels, go to the chart icon up here. Notice that it defaults to a pie chart because the labels are included there, and it gives us only 5 choices: not at all likely, not very likely, somewhat likely, very likely, and I always buy brands. And it automatically calculates the percentage of the people that answered that question in that way. So if you choose this as your chart and we insert it and put it on its own sheet, and that works perfectly well as an option for charting your the data that you got from your spreadsheet.